Today's lecture will be lecture number 10, part B. In last lecture, we learned about these array chapters. Today we learn about these JavaScript dates. This is date object. Into this one we can see the current days, that means today's year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. To use this date object, we can create this with this new keyword and this date constructor. Okay, let's look at this one first. We are learning about JavaScript date output. By default, JavaScript will use browser's time zone and display a date as a full text string like this. How to create date object? We can use this new keyword and this date constructor. There are 4 ways to create a new date object like this. And now we are using new keyword for all of them. Here, new keyword, and with this date we can create a new date object. It's the current date and time. And let's look at this real example. After creating this new and object, date object, we can see this date object D. Then we can see this one. As we observed here, the date object and that date object, that those are static, and that means they are not changing dynamically. And if we want to get new object about the current time, then we should learn again. We should create again. The computer time is ticking, and these date objects are not. That is static. With this method, we can create a new date object with a specified date and time like this. There are 7 numbers. With each number, we can specify year, month, day, hour, minute, second, and millisecond. We should be careful about the number here. In terms of the month, the 0 that is being used for January, that means December is 11. We are creating a new date object in this way. Here we are providing year, month, day, hour, and minute. Then let's look at the result here after showing out on the screen. Here 11, that means that is December, like this. Okay, I'll skip some simple contents and you can refer to them. In terms of the century, previous century, 20th century, that means the year of 19 something, 1 and 2 digit years will be interpreted as 19 something for 20th century, like this. That means 1999, like this. This 11 means December, because 0 means January. Also, we can create a new date object from a date string like this. JavaScript stores date as millisecond since 1970, January 1st. Thus, if we are providing some number like this or like this, then let's look at this number. The unit of this number is millisecond. There's if we are showing out the date in other format, then we can see it is millisecond since 1970. There's this one is calculated automatically, Saturday, March 3rd, 1973. The unit of this number is millisecond, as I mentioned. Okay, I will skip similar contents. There are many date-related methods. We will learn about it. Okay, I'll skip some. Okay, this one is simple, but let's look at this one. After reading this one, let's move to the next. Here, toString, that is converting a date to a string, as we used already in our other chapter, in the previous chapter. Thus we can convert. Even though we are not using this method, we can get the same result like this. We observed already in the previous chapter, even though we are not using that toString method, we can get the string output there. Okay, you can try others. Let's move to the next. This one is about the JavaScript date formats. There are several types. ISO date type, and short date type, long date type, like this. There are generally 3 types of JavaScript date input formats, like this. Usually this ISO format follows a strict standard in JavaScript. And the others might be browser specific. ISO date, like this, YY, that means year, month, day format. The syntax is also the preferred JavaScript date format, like this. And the computed date will be relative to our time zone, depending upon the current time of my computer, and the browser is using that time. Also this one is I use a date format YY. That means year and month, like this. I also date format year only. Here only year. Also we can use this format including date, time. Here capital T is being used. If we are using capital letter Z, then that means that is UTC time. UTC, that stands for Universal Time Coordinated, is the same as GMT, that means Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, you can report to others. Here, warning, let's look at this one. In some browsers, months or days with no leading zeros may produce an error. Okay, you can report to others. Those contents are very straightforward for understanding. If we have a valid date string, we can use the date.parse method to convert it to millisecond. Probably we don't need to convert it to millisecond, but this is just one information about using this parse. Also, in reverse way, we can convert this number of millisecond to a date object like this. This is millisecond, and we can convert in reverse way to the date object like this. Let's move to the next. That is about the date related method. First one is get, to get that information from a date object. With this method, there are several methods among them. Let's look at this one first. Get full year. With this one we can get the year information as a 4-digit number like this, and with this month, get month method, we can get the month information, but the number is 0 for January and 11 is for December, thus we should be careful about that. And the others are conceptually so simple, except this we should be careful about this also. If we are trying to get day, and then we can get some number, and that is related to the weekday, and the 0 means that is Sunday, and the 6 means that is Saturday. Thus also this one is starting into the number 0, that is Sunday. Thus we should be careful about that. Here months, 0 means January, 11 means December, and here 0 means Sunday, and the 6 means Saturday. Okay, the others are conceptually very straightforward. for understanding, you can refer to them. Get month method. Let's look at this one. Here, if we are getting the actual value of these months, then that value will be 4. May, now the month is May, there's January is 0, there's the May, that is 4. Okay, after closing some open tabs, let's continue. We can use an array of names and get months to return the month as a name. If we are using this array information, and each element is contained in this element is related to that month's name. 0, index number 0 is containing January, and the 11 that is containing December. Then we can use that return the value from 0 to 11 depending upon the current months we can get. This month we can get the value here, return value will be 4, and the entry number, index number 4 is January, February, and that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is May. Thus we can get that information here. Okay, you can try others. Date, hour, minutes, second. They are very straightforward. Same to our real number. Of our time. Okay. And if we are using this UTC capital literal between this one, in the middle of them, and then that means that is the UTC time, the universal time zone dates. Okay, you can try others. Let's move to next. Next topic is, next chapter is about setting, to set. Previous chapter is about retrieving the information, but how to set the date. Thus we can provide that date information and we can set. The set date method, there are several. To this method, set date methods are used for setting a part of date, like this. Set the day as a number, like that. Full year we can set, also hour we can set with this number. And also we should be careful about that number here. 0 means January and 11 means December. Here we can set full year with this method. The year of 2020 we can set, and we can get the result here. Let's try to change that. Instead of that, 2021, then you can see the same. Okay, we can get that information like that. Probably May 10th, that is today in this year, but in next year that will be Monday. This year that is Sunday, and that will be changed. Okay, also we can set with other method related to for that setting. Also we can set months with this method, and here we should be careful about the first one, that is index number 0, that means that is January. That's 11, that means December. Thus here you can see December. Those methods are being used for setting of that date. Okay, you can refer to others. Also, sometimes depending upon the application, then maybe this kind of application may be required. We need this one. Sometimes some sale price by the department store for 50 days from today. Then we can add simply like that until that time. During this sale period, we can provide some discounted price we can offer. In that kind of special application, we can use this one. Simply we can get the expired date like this from today after 50 days. Then that means June 29th. Then that information may be used. For example, for sale expiration for sale period and expired date for the sale period offered by department store. Okay, the others also can be set due to that related method. Set hours, that will be used to set hours. Set minutes, also set second, we can set second. Also we can compare days. Sometimes we may need this kind of comparison of dates. Whether today is the still sale period, in the sale period or not, we can check. Today is before January 14th, like that. Today is after January 14th. We can compare. There's someday it may be set like this, and that can be compared in this way. This comparison operator. In summary, JavaScript counts months from 0 to 11. January is 0, December is 11, as we learned already. Okay, you can try others. Let's move to the next chapter. Okay, next chapter is about the mathematics. This one is about math object, and this one is about mathematics. There's some pi, the mathematical pi, that real value is like this, 3.141592, like that. And to round some value like this, finally we can get the integer value for that. We can make it integer for our application we can use. And also we can use this power. That this power, that means this one is being used. The value of x to the power of y, that will be returned. Thus we can get the 8 to the power of 2. That means the return value will be 64. Also we can get square root. All these, all of them, those are related to the mathematics calculation, and these methods are being used for that. Square root 64, that means that is 8. Also absolute value. Sometimes we want to get some absolute value, some positive value of x, then the return value will be 4.7 instead of that negative value. This one is sleep function. That means the value of x is rounded up to its nearest integer above that. That means 5. In reverse way, we can use the other opposite function is floor function. This is rounding down to its nearest integer. This is 4.7. The down integer number is 4. That is floor function. Floor method. Sine or cosine, those methods are related to the this complicated mathematics you can use. Those sine or cosine of that angle x given in radians. Also you can change to use degrees instead of radians. You can. You have to convert degrees to radians in this way. Cosine also minimum value, also maximum value, we can get it. Here among these values here, we can select the minimum value or maximum value. Here minimum value. Here let's look at this real example. Here the minimum value is minus 200. That will be selected and that will be returned. We can show here. Also maximum value can be returned. Also we can generate a random number. This is random number generation method. Probably that will be very useful to provide some random number. And the actual returned random number is between 0, including the 0, and below 1. That means 1 is not included, thus excluded. Thus between 0 and below 1. After learning this one, we can generate. And that number can be used for many different applications using that random number. Like this. Whenever I'm clicking this one is generating random number like this. Between 0 and below 1. Other mathematic object math properties, constants here, Euler number and pi square root, 1 over 2 square root, and logarithm, natural logarithm of 2, natural logarithm of 10, like that. Also here mathematic object methods. Absolute value we can get. Arc cosine and some complicated mathematical notation here. Hyperbolic arc cosine, arc sine, tangent, arctangent of the quotient of its argument here, and you can refer to them if you need that. And but the most popular methods will be like that: seal and some floor method, and the power random number generation. Okay, you can refer to others. Okay, this one is more explanation about the random number generation, because that may be very useful, because this one is dealing with that application using that random number generation. Actually, we can generate the original random number with this method, and we can get the random number. After that, we can manipulate that random number to adjust to our special application. If our application is requiring the random number between 0 and 9, then simply we can multiply here, then we can get the number between 0 and 9 like this. because this number is random number generated, and that number is between 0 and below 1. Thus, if we are multiplying into this number 10, then that means that is between 0 and 9. If we want to include 10, then we can add, well, we can use this one, 11. Then that is the number, random number, generated random number will be integer between 0 and 10. If we want to generate a random number between 0 and 99 or 100, depending upon that, we can multiply with different numbers like this. Sometimes if we want to exclude 0, instead of that, we want to start from number 1 to 10, then if simply we can add number 1. Then that will be the range for the random number generated. Okay, this one is general equation for that, and you can refer to them. Okay, let's discuss about the booleans. This one is true or false, and that may be useful for conditional check, like the if statement later. And this one is about true and false, and S1 on or off, true or false. These all of them, those are about the Boolean data type. This Boolean function, for example, here we can generate true or false. Here 10, this one is checking 10 is bigger than 9, whether that is correct or not, and that is correct, thus that will generate true, like this. This one is also, they are all generating true Boolean value. And the next chapter, probably later, other chapter is about the comparison. And this one, comparison chapter, gives a full overview of comparison operator. And the chapter of conditions, later we'll look at that condition chapter. But here in summary, we'll look at this one in advance, because that is related to the Boolean value. Operator, that is checking equal to, whether that they are equal or not. And this one is checking that is greater than or less than. And this Boolean value will be used for the JavaScript comparisons and conditions, and those will be introduced in the following chapters. Here, if we are checking the values here, for example, here, if we are using this Boolean and the parameter is 100, if we are checking that, then that will be true, like this. That is the result, and also that is true. And even that is the negative value, that will be true. Also this is string, not empty string, then that will be true. If we are understanding the characteristic of the result of that Boolean function, then that will be helpful to apply in the conditional check statement, like if statement later. Here, even though this one is false, the result will be true because that is character string. But if we are using the false instead of that, let's look at in that case that will be first. Just be careful about that. If that is character string like this, single or double, it doesn't matter, the result will be true like that. Thus we should understand and we should utilize the characteristics in our conditional statements later without any wrong application after fully understanding of that. Any number that will be true. Okay, and this one is summary for that. Everything with the value is true. And everything without the value is false. Here, let's look at this real example. X equals 0, 0, that will be checked here, and that will be false. Also, this one, negative 0, also, that will be false. Also, this empty string, there's nothing. And also, if we are using this Boolean function to check whether that is false or not, that is false. If some variable is undefined, also that is generating false Boolean value like this. This one is. If we are initializing it some value like this, then you can see that is true. Let's try to initialize it number 0, then that will be false, as we observed already in other explanation, in the previous explanation. Okay, null value, that is also false. False, of course, that is false, generating false. Okay, if we are trying to divide the number 10 with this capital H alphabet, then the result will be not a number. Then if we are checking with this Boolean function, then the result will be generating false like this, because that not a number is Boolean value false. Okay, you don't need to worry about that new keyword, and that is not recommended at all. Thus, okay, this one is about that. Do not create Boolean object. It slows down execution speed. Thus, the new keyword complicates the code. In other example, with this new keyword, that warning was explained already. Thus, this one is same. Thus, do not try to use this new keyword. This can produce some unexpected result. Thus, that is not recommended at all. Okay, you can try others. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. Okay. Okay, previous chapter is about Booleans. Okay, that is correct chapter. Okay, JavaScript comparison and logical operators. Okay, here we are learning some important concept here, and that will be probably that will be used for conditional statement, and probably you might be familiar with this concept, because this concept is being used in other programming language. Comparison operators are used in logical statements to determine equality or difference between variables or values. For example, let's assume here x is 5, Please keep in mind. And here we are comparing here whether x is equal to 8 or not. X is 5, thus that is wrong, right? Thus that is false. With this operator, this one is checking the equality, whether that is equal or not. This one is true because x is 5, and x is 5. This, even though that is string 5, this one is being converted automatically and compared. Thus, even though that is numeric number 5, even though this one is capital, or this one is string 5, that will be converted automatically to the numeric 5, and they are compared, and that is the result, true. If we are comparing even the type, data type, then this one is exactly the same, because that numeric number 5 is equal to that numeric number 5, but this one is string 5, character 5. Thus, in terms of the data type, that is different. Thus, the final result will be false. This exclamation mark, that is that means not equal. That means not equal. Thus, x is 5, and that is not equal 8. That is true, right? And that is checking even the data type, whether that is equal or not. And that is same. They are same. Thus, this is wrong. Thus, false. Okay, that is true, and also that is true, because they are different. Okay, this one is checking comparison, greater than or less than. Okay, and so on. Thus, this one can be very useful in this conditional statement. Conditional statement we will learn later, but in advance we are looking this one because this is very similar to the C language or other Python, other language. Comparison operators can be used in conditional statement to compare values and take action depending upon the result. Thus, this one is compared, whether that is below that 18, number 18. If that is true, then this one will be executed. And let's look at these logical operators. Logical operators are used to determine the logic between variables or values. Let's assume x is 6 and y is 3, and we are using that number here, variables. X is 6, thus that is correct, that is below 10, right? And y is 3, that is greater than 1, that is correct. Thus this one is true and this one is true. True and true, that will be the final result will be true. And logically in this way, this one is being used. This is logical operator, and this one is this pipe. This one is logical OR operator, and this one x is 6, right? Thus this one is wrong first. Also that is 3, that is not equal to 5. Thus this one is false, this one is false, and the final result will be false. This exclamation mark means not. There's x is not, x is 6 and y is 3, thus that is false, but that will be inverted. That will be true finally. This one is about the ternary operator, conditional ternary operator. Ternary operator is like this. We are using this question mark here, and before that, that is condition. If this condition is checked, if that condition is true, then this value will be assigned to this variable name. And if that condition is false, in that case, the value 2 will be assigned to this variable name. That is the conditional ternary operator. Here, if age is below than 18, that is correct, true, then too young. if that is wrong first, then old enough. Okay, let's look at this real example here. Okay, you can provide the age, actual age. Depending upon that, this one is generating different result. Okay, let's use this initial value 18, then old enough to vote, because that is not this one. That means this one is first, 18, that is equal to this one. Thus this one is first. Thus instead of this, the old enough will be used. This character string will be assigned to this votable variable. Thus we can see the votable variable, and this to vote, that character string will be concatenated. And if you are using other age like that, like this, then you can see old enough still. But if we are using number 3, then too young to vote. This is about the ternary operator. Okay, comparing different types. Comparing data of different types may give unexpected result. Okay, here in this case, this one is correct, right? The number, pure numeric number 12 is bigger than that, larger than that, and greater than that. And this one is string 12. This one is number 12. And this one is converting this one to the pure numeric number. Thus this may be true. But in this case, this one cannot be converted to any pure numeric number. Thus this is generating the value first. This one is wrong. So, but in this case, this one is compared in character type. They are compared in character type. Thus, in that case, this one is greater than that. Thus, this one is first. Like this. Okay, that is first. Okay, you can try others. Okay, still we are learning about conditional statements, and these conditional statements are used to perform different actions based on different conditions. Here we can use this keyword if, else, else if, switch. And conceptually this one will be same or very similar to other programming language. Okay, the if statement. If statement is like this. This is condition, and this curly braces, this one is containing some action block, execution block. If that condition is true, if that condition is satisfied, then that block will be executed. And like this. Let's look at this real example. This one is checking the current date, current hour, and depending upon the current hour, this one is comparing with this value 18, and if that is below 18, that means 6 o'clock, then it is showing this good day. Current time is 4 afternoon, 4:50. There's still this one is below 6 o'clock, 18. Thus this one is generating good day because that condition is satisfied. That is true. If we are converting this one, if we are changing this one, and we can see, and this one is showing different result because I changed this one. Thus conditional check, the result will be different. Okay, this else statement can be used to specify a block of code to be executed if the previous condition is false. This condition is false, then this one will be executed. Else if. We can use this else if statement to specify a new condition, to check another condition. If the first condition is false, then we are checking again with a new condition. This one is else if. Here, checking again with a new condition, whether that is below 20 or not. If that is correct, if that is true, then good day. Okay, you can try others. Okay, this one is related to the condition statement, but the different one. The switch statement. This one is also very useful in various applications. We can use this switch statement to select one of many code blocks to be executed in this way. This is syntax for that. Switch, and this one is expression. If this expression is, in this case, X, or this expression is Y, this expression is not belonging, not related to any other case statement here, then that will be related to this default statement, and this code block will be executed finally. The switch expression is evaluated once, and the value of the expression is compared with the values of each case. If there's a match, the associated block of code is executed. If there's no match, the default code, finally, that default code block will be executed. Okay, let's look at this one. This real example here. Okay. This one is getting current day. That means this one is, today is Sunday. Now I'm recording Sunday. This one. And that means case 0, because the value, return value will be 0. This one is matched one. This day is containing Sunday character string, and this one is breaking that block, and this going out, and that will be executed. Today is Sunday. And we are using many cases depending upon that weekday. This is Saturday. Okay, let's move to the next after closing some open tabs. Here we are learning about the break keyword. When JavaScript reaches a break keyword, it breaks out of the switch block. The break, with this one, we can break out of that block. That means this will stop the execution of inside the block. Default keyword. The default keyword specifies the code to run if there is no case match. There's no case matched, then finally this default will be executed. Okay, let's look at this real example here. Here, today is Sunday. That's case 0. 0 is Sunday. And this one will be executed. Today is Sunday. And this break will be executed, and that means this code block, this block will be broken. It is going out, this block. Thus the next step will be this one. Thus this result will be shown out. if we are using other value here, now we know the current day is Sunday, thus this value will be 0, thus that is not related to that case match. That is not matched to this case. This one means Monday. Let's try to use this one. Monday. 2 means Tuesday. There's default, looking forward to the weekend. Instead of that, weekend, including the weekend, because that Sunday is belonging to that. Then default, this statement will be executed like this, because this one is not matched, because we know the value 0 is not matched to this case, that is not matched to this case, thus finally this one will be matched, thus this one will be executed in this way, and we can get the result like that. Thus, in summary, the default case does not have to be the last case in a switch block. That can be here, okay. Also, we can use this method. Sometimes several cases can be related to the same statement, then we can use in this way for convenience. Sometimes we'll want different switch cases to use the same code block, code like this, code statement here, case 4 and 5, and case 0 and 6. Because 0 and 6, that is Sunday and that is Saturday, thus it is weekend and break. And default is looking forward to the weekend. We can see this one. Because today is 0 and it is showing this result. It is weekend. Okay. Okay, here switch. Okay, in terms of the switch, we should be careful about this. This one is comparing strictly, that is called strict comparison. Switch cases use strict comparison, the triple equal that is being used to compare this and this. Here x is character 0, not numeric 0, and this one is pure numeric 0, and that's different. And this one is comparing even the data type, thus that is different. Also this one that is different, thus there's no match here. Thus this one default, this statement will be executed. Thus here if we are using the same data type like that, then this one will be, the first one will be matched, thus we can get the result like that. If this one is like that and no match, and if we are using this one character 0, then this one will be matched. Okay, thus this one is using strict comparison. Strict means comparing, comparing even that the data type. Okay, let's move to next. This chapter is about the for loop. This one is very important for repetition of some code, and in the C language we are using this one, and in many other languages we are using this kind of loop, while loop, for loop, and we are using this kind of loop. Okay, loops are very convenient if we want to run the same code over and over again, each time you do a different value like this. But this one is inconvenient. Thus, instead of that, we can write in this way. This is a more convenient way, using the for loop. Thus, we should understand the syntax of that for loop. And we learn about the different kinds of loops. First one will be for loop, and the next one is for in loop, for of loop, while loop, to while loop. We learn each one in this chapter. The first one will be the for loop. The syntax is like this, as probably you learned already, and you are very familiar to this one. Statement 1, initial statement, initialization. Before execution of the code block, this one will be executed once, and after that, this one is checking the condition. If the condition is true, then this code block will be executed. After that, this increment or decrement to change that variable to compare here to check the condition. After that, modification, increment or decrement, that variable will be checked again here as a new condition that will be checked here. If that condition is still satisfied, that means that is true, then this code block will be executed again, and that is being repeated like this. Initialize and the conditional check and the increment of that variable and the conditional check here. If that is satisfied, then this one will be executed. Okay, there's first statement. There can be many statements here like this, and those should be separated with comma. Then we can include many statements like that. This is the second one, third one. Instead of that, we can use in this way the initialization and some assignment like that, and this one can be empty because we executed already before this. Thus this one can be omitted if we are using this initialization in the previous statements. Statement 2 is, this one is to explain about that conditional statements. This one is checking that condition. And also number 3, statement number 3 is increment or decrement to change that variable related to that condition check here. If that increment or decrement is embedded here, then we can omit here. There's another loop that is called for in loop. This statement loops through the properties of an object. There's here x is variable x here, and that is related to each property belonging to that object, and after that, this one is the object name. This means in this object person, each property that will be executed one by one. The first one, x, that is f name. And if we are using that f name, then the value will be John, thus John. That will be concatenated due to this initial character string that is empty, and after that those are all concatenated together, and we can see the result like this. Another one, for of loop, that will be a little bit new one, strange, and here the JavaScript for of statement loops through the values of an iterable object. This is syntax for that. This is iterable object, and this is variable. This is about the values. Okay, here, this one is the example for that. This is array, and this is iterable array. That means many elements are belonging to that array, and this one is checking that value, each value here sequentially, and that will be concatenated, and we are using that line break, as we can see 3 lines here as an output. Even this character string, each individual character will be the variable x related to that, and that is the character string, that is the iterable. This character string, in this character string, character, one character, each character is iterable, that is iterated. Thus x is j, a, v, a in the sequence. Thus we can concatenate together, and we are using each character in each line. We can show like this. Okay, after closing some open tabs, let's move to the next. While loop. Okay, that will be discussed in next chapter. While loop and the while loop will learn. Also, that is related to the loop statement. Even old style program language that was being used, like Fortran or COBOL, in many other old program languages. This is so old concept. Loops can execute a block of code as long as specified condition is true, and this while loop, while, and this condition. If that condition is true, then this code block will be executed like this. If that condition is satisfied, if that is true, then this one will be executed. Comparing to that, to while loop is this: to execute this one first. After that, the condition will be checked. That means at least once this code block will be executed. For that kind of special application, we can use this to while statement, loop statement. And if we are comparing for loop and while loop, those are very similar and almost same. Here, this one is the first statement, and if we are using some statement here, and this first one and the third one is empty, and those are implemented here for the third one, and the first one, first statement, that is related to that, and then we can use only the second statement here. This one is checking the condition. Also, that will be implemented. We can get the same result. Here, let's look at the result with this one. Here, this one, those are enumerated here, and one element is occupying single line. Here we are using for loop, and to the while statement, while loop, we can implement the same one, same application, and we can get the same results like that. Here simply we change it, this one. Okay, I'll copy this one and I'll change. Let's move to the previous one, for loop. Instead of that, we are using this while loop, then still we can get the same result. If we are implementing this way, then we can get the same result, even though we are using while loop or for loop. We can get the same result. Okay, you can try others. And let's look at this JavaScript break and continue statement. Here, the break statement, we learned already about this, but let's look at a little more in detail about this. And this one is a new one, continue statement. This one is jumps over one iteration in the loop. First, let's look at this break statement. We learned already, but for other application we can apply this break statement. For example, this one, break. Okay, if this condition, this one is true, then that will be this one is breaking that loop. That means next step will be this one to execute. Thus that means breaking that loop. That means if I equal 3, then this one is not executed. Thus 0, 1, 2, those are executed. Thus 0, 1, 2 here, those are executed. 3, if I is 3, then that is not executed here. That next one will be this one. That means this for loop block that will be broken using this break statement. That is the application of that break statement. Comparing to that break statement, this one is continue statement. With this one we can continue that iteration instead of break. That is different. Here, let's look at this real example. If we are using this continue instead of break, then this one is not going out, not breaking. This one is continuing that iteration. That means if I is 3, then this one is skipped. Then this one is going to this one. After execution of this code block, this one is the increment or decrement statement. Thus that will be 4, I equal 4, and that will be checked here. 4 is still below 10, thus this one will be executed again. There's only 3 is missing here. That is skipped because here that is skipping this one and continue that iteration. That is the application of this continue statement. Okay, if we are using some label here, then we can use that break and continue statement depending upon that label name. If we are using that label name, then we can use this break label name and continue label name here. Let's look at this real example. Here we are using that label name list. Even though that is not the for loop or switch block, here we can use this break statement. Here, this one is the label name list. Here we can go out, we can break that block here, these parentheses, this not curly parentheses, this is curly braces, this going out, that curly braces block. There's 0, 1, after that it is going out, there's BMW and Volvo. First one, second one, that will be shown here, and the others are not shown here because that is breaking the loop and going out to this statement. Thus here in summary, a code block is a block of code between these curly braces. Okay, I'll wrap up today's lecture and I'll skip, as I described in the announcement, this type conversion, just for reference. You can refer to this type conversion, but I will not ask about this one even in the final exam. Okay, I'll wrap up today's lecture here, and let's continue. After this there will be bitwise, and we'll continue. And some chapters also, those will be skipped, and I excluded in the quiz test, even in the final exam, and that is announced already in the bulletin board, and also announcement in the blackboard.